Thank you all for joining the session. And today I will just be walking us through the introductory part of data analytics with artificial intelligence. And so, having said that, I will go through a little bit of fundamentals of AI, just quickly to talk about AI as a way, as a tool, or you could call it an implementation that allows us to replicate human intelligence. That was what we dealt with a lot in the last classes. We talked about AI as a way to replicate human intelligence and capabilities, and we talked, a lot about being a tool for discovery, for making inference, and also for reasoning. I also talked about the foundational concepts in AI, which is, artificial intelligence, it being a branch of computer science that is basically creating machines that perform tasks just like human beings. And we talked about machine learning as a subset of AI. We went into details about comparing it into pizza and talking about the crust, talking about the different ingredients that make up a pizza the last time. And so consider machine learning as as an aspect of artificial intelligence that is used in making predictions. And that is an important part of what we are doing going forward. In the aspect of data analytics, you are looking at machine learning algorithms being functional. And in the last series, we also talked about neural networks, which is what is actually helping us to think like a human. Helping machines to think like a human, because it basically consists of different connected nodes, just like the brain, and how the brain processes information and generates predictions. And we also talked about deep learning. It's from deep learning that it's based on neural networks that we are able actually to get into deep learning and perform really complex tasks like natural language processing, like image recognition, and all these things have different applications. For example, natural language processing, that is actually what helps AI to actually understand your text. So when you type something into ChatGPT and it gives you a response, what's actually happening there is natural language processing, which involves like breaking down your what you have typed into text, and those texts are then they're breaking them into entities. And that's what is then being used to understand what you have typed. And there are different applications today, especially for image recognition that is being used in food processing. There are different types of speech recognition, interpretation functions that AI can now perform. In the context of data analytics, a lot of people would have used ChatGPT. And I will go a little bit into, giving you a peek into ChatGPT in a moment. I think if you excuse me for a bit, I will, stop presenting for a moment, and then we share the entire slide. I was just talking about ChatGPT code interpreter. Code interpreter also is more like it has changed from code interpreter to what you have now on screen, which is the advanced data analysis. It used to be code interpreter. And now you can do a lot of functions with it. Now, it has enhanced capabilities. It's able to work with different file types, can use Excel, can use Word, and can also accept PDF. So can use different types of file formats. And it offers data analysis functionalities similar to what a data analyst or a data scientist would do. The challenge with this is that a lot of people talk about the fact that AI is about to take up their jobs. Well, AI, the entire goal of artificial intelligence is to be able to replicate how human performs tasks And now that AI can do tasks like data analytics well, you still need humans to do that engagement and interaction. And that's what I'm trying to do with this class and this series, is to get you introduced to that space where you're able to use AI to accompany your task and the functions that you'll be performing on your day-to-day. So we also have the Microsoft Copilot that was also released recently, which also is basically integrating the Copilot into Microsoft, integrating it to all their functionalities. If you open your Word document today, it's probably able to do different functions. Is able to. They're now integrating AI into almost everything. You could actually do, say something, and the word will type whatever you're saying. You can type it out. And now we're also having it into more advanced tools like Azure and Power BI. So basically, Microsoft is plugging AI into their ecosystem and allowing you to let AI enhance how you perform your task, including even into designs. Now, what impact will AI have in the space of analytics? Automating repetitive tasks in analytics. We'll get into all of that later, especially how you use it on Excel and on Google Sheets, how you can get your own API keys, plug it into your Google Sheets, and if you have any data tasks that you need to perform, you can automate it right from there, or you can just bring your data, plug it into the ChatGPT interface, and then use it. For example, I would do a little task for you just now. I have a data set that I would import for this class, just to give us a way to give you like an insight into what this actually does for you. So cost challenge data sets, and so this is a data set that I have that I wanted to use for this class. Let's just desktop, and I will open it just to give you an idea of what's in the file, and we will then go ahead and start engaging. So this is just a data set that I wanted us to interact with, and we would use this data set to perform a little bit of tasks. Okay. So we can say a little bit of doing some advanced data analysis task, but just to give you a taste of what this is about, I can ask it to provide a summary. Let me boost and I say provide a quick summary of the data set. What is this data set about? Just let's just get a feel of what this data set, and it will go ahead and look at the data. And so right there, it's saying, "Oh, I'm looking at that data." Okay, so cool. So it has immediately read that data and has come back to say this is the data set is a table that lists information about sales at different stores. Here's a quick summary of what the columns mean: the store number, the average daily customers, the average daily sales, the in units, and there it's in dollars, and then average total daily sales for all products that is in that store. So basically, this gives you an idea of what that data set is about and the description for each of the columns. that are in that data set. So basically, that is AI helping you to quickly make a sense of the data set that you have. Now, you could do different things with this, and we will continue doing this with this data set. What ChatGPT can do for you, and it's not only ChatGPT. Like I have shared with us in the past, I use as well BAD. So not only so that task could also be performed by other AI tools. So I will just open BAD just now to give you a sense of what this is. BAD by Google. I also use it especially to perform technical tasks. Okay, so I could, so BAD does not allow me to attach Excel directly. So I'm just going to copy the data set. Okay, so which is, so if you have the free version of ChatGPT, what you could do is you could copy the data set. So I will do something just now so that we are all on the same page and doing exact same thing. Let me see if I can attach. Okay, so unfortunately, I cannot attach the file here on this interface. But one thing that I could do is I will, perform the same task again. I will try to do it with the free version. Good. So let's use the free version. I will paste the text. So I copied the text, and I will ask ChatGPT to make a sense of it. So below, I provided I provide you with a data set about about a store. So please provide some information about the data set. This is just a generic, a generic way of just trying to make a sense of it. And because the data set that you're putting in here is, you want to wrap it a little bit, so you could, do a little wrap there, and you can see the sign. So I will do something in a moment and send you the link to this chart that I am currently making, so you can also have a sense, also engage with this and do exact same thing that I am doing. So I have just done that, and now it's going to do exact same thing again, the similar response. So I will send you this chat, and you can continue with this chat. So I'll send you the link to this chat just now in the group chat, and you can open the link based on that, and we can together walk through this exercise and this series together. So cool. Now let's go back to, so we also say that ChatGPT can help you to explain code in various programming languages. I have used it a lot with Python, with SQL, with R language, and I've used it to also well with Excel, just like we have done just now. There are a few boilerplate options and context that the code will provide, or the AI would provide for you. For example, just like it has immediately related with this code, and it's already giving you some information about the data that are provided. For example, it's able to tell you this one is in units, this one is in dollars, and the average total daily sales is for all the products in the store. And you also basically is able to quickly, for example, look at this one. It says, for example, store one has an average daily sales revenue of $2,686 from all products. So quickly make a sense, try to understand what's in there, and one of the things that I would like to say is in the last series, I really broke down how AI is able to understand what you're typing and to make a sense of it. Please, you need to actually go and watch that video so you really get how it's able to know what's actually in there. It's about natural language processing. It's about breaking your text down into entities, making and combining those entities to make a sense of exactly what this is all about. Great. So I'll go back to the presentation. So like I said, we could generate Python code, we could generate SQL codes, we could generate Excel functions, and it will give us a good response. I will get into all of these aspects later. That would be for the in the next class that we're going to have. For today, I just wanted to give you all the background information and the basics, so really you can follow slowly, especially for people that are new to data and relating with data for the first time, or maybe you are really trying to get into data analysis. I want to give you a really broad background into data analysis, so you are not so you know what you're getting into and you really understand, you can follow along. That's why I'm not really speeding up this presentation. So what are the limitations? One thing I want to say is that ChatGPT will not always give you like a perfect result. No, it will not always give you perfect result. You still need to, at least in the minimum, understand exactly the task that is going to perform. So when you have special requests, when you make your request, that's why in the last series, that's also part of the prompt engineering class, I made mention of going not asking for too many things at the same time. Avoid doing that. Go like step by step. Try to ask what you're looking for in small pieces. It will really help you. The other thing is when you're trying to get your answers, try to tell ChatGPT to give you a response in a step-by-step format. And there's something that I always do with my ChatGPT, and I would also suggest that if you have some time, you should do the same. So I will be sending you, if you look at my screen, I have something that is called custom instructions. I will suggest that you also do the same. I have a specific type of custom instructions that I use. It's not specifically tailored to data analysis, but you might want to use it. So I will just quickly show you my custom instructions, and I will post it there. So when you go to get your custom instructions, bottom left corner, you'll see 3 buttons just in front of your name. Click that 3 button, it will immediately give you custom instructions. When you click on custom instructions, it will open up this interface for you. The first block is, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? So I'm just going to copy what I have in there and post it also in the chat. So in case you think you would need something like that, you should try to use it. So I've posted it in the chat. I would do the same as well. How would you like ChatGPT to respond? So I'm going to do it. So the way I've built this is I've created my custom instructions to help ChatGPT to understand that any response is providing, it really needs to break it down using simple sentences, simple vocabulary that is easy to understand by everyone. So that's why my response may be different from your own responses, because I'm using custom instructions. And I'm just saying, like, if you find it interesting, you might also want to use custom instructions. It helps a lot to refine the output of your um, output. So the first block. Now I'm posting the second block just now. So that's the second block that you should use in this part. So you should try to use the same, copy it, and fix your own custom instructions. It will improve the quality of your outputs. I always update my custom instructions. They were not this detailed and this okay, so it's not actually complete. You reason and respond. Let's go back. Okay. So I would copy the rest from here because it's a lot actually. Okay, what I will do is this. Actually, okay, don't even need to worry yourself. I will send you to the WhatsApp chat. I will send the link to custom instructions and the link to my prompt library that I was supposed to have actually shared earlier. I will also share that as well. So do not worry, but you can follow along just for now. And at the end of the class, I will send out the link to the custom instructions that you can use, and also the link to my prompt library. I've been meaning to share that, but I just needed to clean it up earlier. So, like I said, avoid sending multiple instructions at the same time. Go step by step. It's a very, very, very important. Always go step by step, and you can try to add that to your prompt or your questions, the query to ChatGPT when you are making a request. Results can vary and may not always meet expectations. So always know that when you send something and the output is not as what you want, always try to change your prompt again, refine the prompt, especially because you know what you're trying to get. You may not have the exact information like clearly, but you know what you're trying to get. So you can always like refine your prompt to ensure that ChatGPT is giving you the response that you're looking for. Some tasks may take longer to process or analyze. You also need to know that. Let's go back to the chat, and you see that at some point, I think that was in the previous data set that I uploaded, the one that I uploaded. You will see it would have told you something that, oh, I'm working on something. For example, to give you a summary of the data set, I'll first need to take a look at it. I will open the file and review its content to provide you with an overview of what it is about. Let's get started. So definitely it would have spent some time, look at it, processing your data. It's even providing you with the Python code that it is using. Now, let me say this. Do not try to use ChatGPT to learn Python, but you can use it. You can use ChatGPT to improve the quality of like the way you understand it. It will help you like process your data and give you even code explanations. And if something is not clear, you can ask it to you can ask ChatGPT to process it, to analyze it, and to review it, to review what the response is. But do not try to use ChatGPT to try to learn Python coding. What you should do is you can learn from the other sources that are good, and then use ChatGPT as a way to break it further down. Because ChatGPT, for every code or every function it writes, it would probably write the description, and you can on your own like now look at the description, load the dataset to see what it contains, and that's what import pandas as PD is helping you to do here. And then it's saying that, okay, file path equals to this, data equals to blah blah blah, and then it's reading that data for you and immediately giving you a sense of what this is about. So this is already showing you how to use library in Python, but we'll get into all of that later. I will show you a little bit of the elementary part of Python and SQL. And with time, as you grow and as you improve your knowledge, you can learn from other sources and improve. And I will try to also create like another series for advanced topics. But for now, we will just deal with the basics to help you get started with data analysis. All right, let's go back to our presentation. So we've talked a lot about how it processes information, how you can upload your file, and if you're not able to upload your file to ChatGPT, you can just copy the entire data set, put it in the way that I've done it. I think I already sent you the link. Okay, so I already sent you the link. The way I did my data set, I copied the entire data set and sort of like boxed it like this. I just feel that things get neater. Of course, you're going to have large data sets that you cannot do like this. And that's why you will need to, if you really want to use ChatGPT to process large data sets, you either have to be able to attach the data to this, or you use the API and then use Google Sheets. I will show you all of that in the next class on how to use Google Sheets. How to use Google Sheets with OpenAI API keys. You plug your API keys into your Google Sheets, and that immediately allows you to use OpenAI to basically be able to perform the same function in a similar way that ChatGPT will have done it. But this way, you are using a key, and it immediately enhances your capacity and the what you can process. And of course, I will show you the entry, the introductions to Python and SQL, and how to write some basic level codes to do some repetitive tasks that you do on a daily basis. So data analytics. Can anybody in the house here provide knows anything about data analytics, some definitions? Do you want to share those definitions? Do you know anything about data analytics? Before now, do you want to share what that is? I'm happy to read from you if you have some definitions that you want to share. Otherwise, I will, if you want to share some definition, what is data analytics or what is data analysis? You are free to share that, and I will, of course, also, talk about it. Let me as well also actually just quickly send you this chat that I have here, so you can also have access to that. And with that, you can pull up the data actually, because it's linked directly into that chat, hopefully. All right, so I will go back into the presentation and go ahead with data analytics. So what is data analytics? Data analytics is about collecting data, processing data, the entire process, including collecting, processing, cleaning it, analyzing the data, and making sense out of the data, sharing that data, the analysis of the data, visualizing the data, and eventually making informed business decisions and solving business problems with that data. That is the entire process of what you call data analytics. And I'm sure that some might have some confusion about, okay, so so then what is data analysis? Why is it different from data analytics? Why are we not talking about data analysis and all of that? So I will, provide you with more detailed, information about the difference between the two and how they operate. So definition, what is data? If somebody said data is unprocessed information, somebody said data is raw information as it's coming. I do agree with you to a large extent. I will, however, define data as everything. It's like a raw material. Imagine if you're producing or if you're manufacturing, you have raw materials that you used, and those raw materials are what you mix them, you crush, you do different things to get to the final state of the product, right? So you have a product going through different processes. Or imagine if you are a fashion designer and you want to design a new clothes. When you get the clothes, you cut it to different sizes, shapes, based on the measurement that you're taking about the person that you are sewing the clothes for. You cut it. In fact, sometimes you go to a tailor, let's say a fashion designer, you give them a material, you go back there, until that product even takes the shape eventually, or the cloth is eventually sewn and together, you really don't know what is going on because everything looks so disjointed. Well, that's the whole concept of data. And I define data as everything. Everything is data. As I'm sitting down here, as we are all in this room, in this chat room, we're generating data. Everything I've been saying so far is data. The text that we have been typing is data. The number of people in this presentation, that is also data. The number of people that are disconnected and reconnected, that is also data. The number of people that started the class versus the number of people that are in the class right now, and the ones that will be in the class at the end of the session, that is also data. And data exists in different forms. It could be structured or unstructured. Structured in the sense that it comes with labeling, well formatted, well sorted clearly. That is structured. Unstructured is just everything is random. The text is random. You have different types of information coming in, but nothing is labeled properly. That is unstructured data. Then in terms of format, you could have quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative in the sense that it comes with numbers. For example, the number of shoes that was sold in a shop, the number of people that came to class, the number of the population of Nigeria, for example, or the number of people under the age of 18, for example. Those are quantitative data. Qualitative data, they are data that are not, you couldn't quantify, that you didn't quantify. So think of it as text. Let's say you go for a survey and you're asking people questions and they are giving you answers in different formats, just telling you, oh yeah, say you go for a survey and you ask people, what do you think about XYZ? And they give you a response about their thoughts about that thing, then that is a qualitative data. Those are, things that are not quantifiable in terms of their responses, but we can, of course, that's where transformation of data comes in. We will get to that later, where you can transform qualitative data to quantitative data. You can always switch between the two. Then there are sources of data. It could be sensors, survey, social media, web platform, Google Analytics. And there are so many sources of data. As we are here, we're generating data on a daily basis. We're generating millions and millions and millions of gigabytes of data on a day-to-day basis. So what do you use data for? To identify trends, patterns, to create models to predict something. For example, let's say I want to predict what is the population of Nigeria going to be in the next 10 years. I can use data to do that. I can use data to predict, for example. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but I can use based on history and combine a few things together and say, based on what we know about Nigeria between this period and this period, we think that within the next S year, given X, Y, Z in terms of assumptions, based on these assumptions, we believe that the population of Nigeria will get to, let's say, 250 million or something. That can be done. You can develop predictive models around, for example, a bank can decide and say, okay, based on the characteristics of my customers, I should be able to maintain X percentage of defaults. That is, if I give loan to 1,000 people, and maybe 10 of them will not pay back the money. Maybe 990 of them will pay back their money. And I could also use information from the last 1,000 or the last 1 million people that I've given loans to say, okay, based on the characteristics of these people, I assume that our default rate, or the number of people that will fail in paying back their money, or the amount of money that we will not be able to get back from this 1 million naira that we're lending out, will be maybe 100,000. And because of that, having known or having been able to predict that, I can then say, okay, what am I going to do to prevent me losing this 100,000 naira out of this 1 million? Because now my data has said that if I give out this 1 million naira, I'm going to likely lose 100,000. I will then, as a business, based on the prediction that I've done, make informed decision out of that prediction and say, how do I put in control measures to prevent the loss of this 100,000? How do I ensure that my loan officers or my customers are, that I study my customers well before I even give them the loan? How do I ensure that if the money does not come back, how do I get it back? Do I get a security from them? Do I collect the title to their properties, or maybe the title to their vehicles as a security deposit? In case they don't pay me back my money, then I can go after those things. There are different ways. Or do I ensure that I make sure that these customers, based on the information I have about them, and after being able to predict that this is how they are going to behave, I then take important steps to prevent that event from happening. So now I want to give you a bit of the difference between data analysis and data analytics. What are the critical differences between the two? They sound almost the same. They look similar, but there are some, obvious differences between the two. And I will take a moment to just provide context and why they are actually different. So this is a tabular representation of the two, and just I believe this should help you. This should provide some context into the differences between the two. So definition. For data analysis, you're looking at the process of inspecting, cleaning, transforming, and modeling your data to extract insights. The key word there is extract insight. Your focus for data analysis is you want to process your data, you want to clean it, transform it, model it, and get insights from that data. You're only looking at the insights for a data analyst. So the primary goal of a data analyst is extract insights from this data. But for data analytics, it goes a little bit beyond just extracting insights, which is why data analysis is actually more like a subset of analytics. Analytics is more encompassing in the sense that your goal is to solve business problems and drive strategic decision making. So the goal is, I want to make business decisions. I want to solve business problems. How do I do that? Data analytics. Data analysis, I just need insights from this data. It's not really about solving the business problem. It's primarily the insights that you want to extract from it. While data analytics is actually driven towards making strategic decisions from your data. So the scope is narrow for data analysis, it's broader for analytics. The process is more or less the same, but the difference is at the point of data analytics, you are looking at actually communicating it, engaging with decision makers, engaging with the broader stakeholders in the organization or in your business. And you're collectively looking at how can I share this information in a meaningful way that helps stakeholders to make clear business decisions. Of course, there are different tools. The tools are not really far different from one another. But one thing that you're doing with data analytics is you're looking more into, machine learning algorithms. You're looking at more advanced data mining tools to really not only just extract insights, but actually turn those insights to strategic decisions for the business. So let's do a quick example of the difference between analytics and analysis. Let's go to the whiteboard. I'll just start a new whiteboard, and we can just just do a walkthrough. So we will just quickly walk through this. I'll create a text box for analytics. No, analysis, and then I will create another text box for analytics, and we can walk through this together. So what analysis will do for you is, let's look at we want to use a practical business case now, a pharmacy store. Or no, the pharmacy store may be a little bit skewed. Let's look at a canteen or a restaurant. Let's look at the restaurant business as a case study for this class. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think would be the job of a, let's see if I can do a sticky note somewhere here. What would be the function of, let's see from you, what do you think would be the function of an analyst for a canteen or a restaurant in this case? For analysis, you can do analysis of the numbers of customers coming daily. Okay, making purchases daily. Yes, you can do this. That's what you might want to do if you are a data analyst. In this case, you want to see number of customers that are making purchases on a daily basis, right? But for analytics, what do you think would happen if you want to turn this into business decision? What would you focus on if you were doing analytics? For analytics, you might want to focus on, customer retention. So in the case of customer retention, you're looking at your customers and saying, how can I ensure? So in this case of analysis, what you just do is you do like a trend of customers coming in on a daily basis, right? But for analytics, we'll go much deeper. We'll try to find the customers. We'll probably look at the customer ID. So let's start breaking it down. We'll probably look at the customer ID and say, who are the customers that are coming regularly? On a face level, what you might be seeing is number of customers. Oh, maybe we have, customers growing. But within that growth, maybe what you're actually doing is you are just increasing, you're increasing the number of customers that are coming on a daily, but maybe you are also having a lot of high churn. That is customers that just come today and don't come tomorrow. And you're probably maybe spending a lot of money on doing adverts or just doing promo. And because you're doing promo, your customer base is you're having more customers coming on a daily basis, but actually you're not having repeat customers. So for analytics will look at the customer ID, which is unique, and say, are customers actually coming back? So if I had a customer yesterday, did that customer come back today?
Is that customer coming back on a daily basis? Okay. Then you now say percentage, for example, percentage of, repeat customers. That is, that's customers that are coming, that are repeat customers, right? You want to know, are you having repeat customers? Now, if you're having repeat customers, you might want to see, what do they buy? So you might be looking at purchases, purchases and frequency of their purchase. Like, so what, frequency, right? So you might be looking at, okay, so what are they buying, right? For example, and how often are they buying what they buy? So basically, you're looking at this case, you're looking at the product ID. So maybe there are some food items that they like to buy. Maybe some customers, they are repeat customers, they're coming, and you start to see that your repeat customers are all the time buying jollof rice, for example. That means that there's something about your jollof rice that is making all your repeat customers buying that jollof rice. Maybe it is very sweet. Maybe there's a specific seasoning that you're using in that jollof rice that is making everybody want to come and buy it, but they're not buying moi moi, right? So you start to look at that and you start using that to make decisions. Okay, maybe I should increase the volume or the quantity of jollof rice that I'm cooking so that I can continue to meet the target of these people. And if you see that, okay, some people are buying, some repeat customers are buying moi moi, but not all of them, you want to check, why are others not buying moi moi? Is it a function of the taste, or is there a problem with the packaging? Or, that's the way you make decisions with analytics. For analysis, it's just giving you trends, giving you, the information about what is happening, the data sets, helping you to present it in a way that you can, see it. But when it comes to making the right decisions, you are making decisions based on the insight, and that insight is helping you to make better decisions. That is what analytics helps you to do. In that other options here, there's also about targeted marketing campaigns. For example, if I have a social media page, I want to analyze my social media page and see, okay, what percentage, look at the total number of customers or the total number of visitors to my page, or total number of engagements that I'm seeing, and see how it is trending up. And then look at the unique visitors, that every visitor that's come to my site, are they coming back? What's their demography? Are they young or are they old? Based on that information, if I know that more young people are visiting my page, then I want to produce more content for young people, right? So your marketing campaign will now be geared towards the people that are engaging more with your site. So that's how you make decisions with analytics. Analysis will give you, for example, the trend, the pattern. It will just give you, okay, age-wise, so these are the age of a group of people that are coming to. But with analytics, it goes more into like building out a marketing campaign that is targeted to the demographics of your customer base. So what are the processes that are involved in data analytics? So that's the next thing that I wanted to cover. I will, cover this process because that is, I wanted to make sure that we cover this part because we should be rounding up in the next 10, 15 minutes thereabout. I want to cover this side of data analytics process because once we cover this side, we will next class go into using the AI tools to actually perform the analysis and actually write maybe some SQL codes, some Python codes to really analyze data. So you see how you can write those code with the help of AI. Then you see how you can use some of these technologies on maybe, for example, Google Sheets, on Rows. I don't know if you guys have used Rows before, ROWS. is an AI tool that you can use also for data analysis. That there are quite a few of them aside from the regular like Power BI, my SQL Server, Tableau, and all these other advanced data analytics tools. Now we are having AI coming into the space and also disrupting it. And what we have already talked about earlier is Microsoft has identified, and all the other tech giants are seeing that, okay, AI has come to stay. They are now integrating it into everything, into all the tools that you're using today. So you can't run away from it. You have to learn how to use it. So I'm just walking you through this process so you understand the difference between these terms that are being used in the space. And so when you get to start to perform the task with AI tools, it doesn't sound strange to you, you know it. So now, data analytics process. The first step is to define the problem. So, and like I discussed, there's usually a problem that you want to solve, and that is why you're doing data analytics, right? So the first step in this entire process is define the problem. What problem are you trying to solve? And until you know that problem, you may not be able to perform this task correctly. So you have to first define the problem. The next step is collecting the data, right? So, now you know the problem. Now, based on the information you have about the problem, you can then move into collecting data tailored to solving that problem, right? And just a quick note when you're defining problem, there is a SMART methodology that is used. I will show you that in a couple of seconds or minutes. There's a SMART methodology that is deployed specifically to defining your problem. So you'll be able to, and it's simple, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. That's SMART. It's a SMART methodology, and we will deploy that. We will use that, quickly to define a specific problem as an example. But now I just want to walk you through the entire process. Collect data. So the data that you're collecting, before you even go out to collect that data, you need to know the problem. And now that you know the problem, you are collecting data specifically to answer or to solve the problem. So as a data analyst, your data collection process has to be geared towards a specific problem that you're trying to solve. Even when you're querying your database, the database is there. The database has all the information you need, but you need to know specifically what part of this data am I calling. In fact, it's important, especially if you're running scripts language like SQL, so that you don't bog down your system. You need to be calling the right columns, the right rows, so that your processing can be fast. You're not slowing down the system, and that you can get your job done as fast as possible. The next thing is, after you have collected your data, of course, like you will collect your data from different sources. You have your data in different formats. You will probably have different types of data sets. For example, we talked about quantitative and qualitative. You want to now make sure that those data sets are now in the preparation stage, you are converting them into similar formats, right? So for example, those that are in qualitative, you need to move them into quantitative. Some numbers are, for example, say if you are trying to quantify the feedback, customer feedback, you need to use a sentiment and use something like sentiment analysis to actually assign numbers. So for example, if a customer has said good and another group of customers are saying very good, and some customers are saying bad, and some customers are saying very bad. Some people will not say it exactly as bad and very bad. What you then do is they may have used different types of languages or sentences. You then, assign sentiment to those feedback, and then use that sentiment to convert them to a quantitative set of data. So for example, you might assign 4 to very good, and very bad might be 0. And you might say, okay, good. Depending on how you scale it, you then assign numbers to those qualitative data, that text. So that way you can convert sentences to numbers that you can then use in your data analysis. So you see, you're going through a process of preparing your data for analysis, which is cleaning it up, normalizing the data, removing what you could call outliers. Outliers could be something that is not usual or regular. Say, for example, a customer that would normally buy, maybe for the last 1 year, has been buying pizza, maybe worth 1,000 naira every day, and all of a sudden comes to the shop and buy pizza worth 1 million naira. You definitely know that that 1 million naira is an outlier. It's not something that you should use in processing your data, because it's going to completely distort the output of your data. So that means that 1 million naira worth of pizza, what could have happened? The guy may have been doing a party, or he may be working in a large organization, and he has been assigned with the task of buying pizza for the entire organization for that event that they are hosting. So that way you know that that is an outlier, and you need to account for that outlier in your data so that it does not distort your output. So basically, note that you need to watch out for these things when you're preparing your data. Then the next stage you go into, after you have collected, cleaned up your data, prepared it for analysis, is then you go into analysis. You actually do the real analysis of your data. And after you have analyzed your data, you perform visualization tasks. There are different tools that are used for visualization. The whole concept of visualizing your data is to display it in a way that is easy for everybody to see and relate with. For example, you could create trends, you could create pie charts, you could create bar charts, you could create different types of charts. Those are ways to visualize the data to show the clear trend and clear distinctions in the way in the way the data is being displayed. And the last part is communicate your result, share the results. What sense have you made out of this data? What information can the business derive from this data? What decision can be made out of this data? What outcome are you hoping to see from this data? That's what communicating your results, what it does. So I want to run through what problem definition actually means. So okay, so we'll be stopping here at this stage, just to in the next 5 minutes I would finish this presentation. I want to make sure that I talk about this problem definition, and I will then give you a task for the next class to define problems. What kind of problem do you want to solve? Do you have data for it? We can then come in the next class, rub mind on it, and then we would build on those problems that you might want to solve with data, and then we start using the different AI tools. But I just want to go through this definition. How do you define a problem statement for your data analysis project? So in defining problem, you want to look at what business problem or questions are you trying to solve with this data. That's the first thing you need to know. What problem do you want to solve with this data that you want to collect? And after you've defined the problem, then you want to identify where will you find the data. Now, AI may not necessarily help you to define problem, but AI will give you the scope with which you can define that problem. And I will, I can show you a few things on that. Then, decide on the applicable analysis technique. That what technique are you going to use to solve that problem? And we can use an example of a pizza shop. I will show you how we walk through that. So we will talk about how a pizza shop can deal with the customer retention. Assume a scenario where maybe they are worrying about their customer retention. Maybe they feel that there is a lot of churn. And the same applies to bank account products. There are times when banks go out and do a lot of promo, and even after they have done the promo, maybe they are not seeing a lot of growth, or maybe they are seeing a lot of churn, attrition in their customer base. Some customers come in, they don't even use the account for more than 1 or 2 months, and off they go. So they're trying to solve this problem. How would they go about solving this problem? How would they go about solving the problem of a pizza shop or a bank account officer wondering where are his customers has been putting a lot of effort into going out every day, open accounts with me, open accounts in my bank, and he's seeing that his asset base is going down, his liability base is going down. The pizza shop is wondering where are our customers. And we get new customers, but the old ones are not coming back. How can we fix this problem? That is something we want to define. So I talked earlier about the SMART methodology. And I just want to walk us through what a SMART methodology means. It means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So specific, let's see, what do you think a specific will do for you? If the problem is specific, let's even ask anyone in the house who wants to talk. Specific here means, for example, I want to increase a customer retention by 10% in the next quarter. It is simple, it is specific, it is straight to the point. My goal is I want to at least be having a customer retention, to increase my customer retention by 10%. What that means is, we'll get into that. How do you measure that? So remember, we are defining a problem statement, and this is how you define problem statement. And this is the task I would like everyone to go and think about as you go, as we end this session today. You want to define a problem that you want to solve, and you want to solve that problem with data. This is how you practice. How do I increase customer retention by 10% in the next quarter? Measurable. Now, you have to be able to measure your customer retention. And how do you measure customer retention? By tracking the number of customers who make purchase this quarter compared to who made purchase in the previous quarter. That's how you know if somehow within that space you have been able to increase your retention. And remember, in the explanation that I gave earlier, we talked about customer ID. So your customer retention will be looking at the customer IDs of people that bought last month and the people that bought this month, and check the two and say, okay, I actually retained some customers. Then I will look at how many of those customers that bought last month also bought this month. The number then starts to give me a sense if I am increasing my retention, if I'm actually able to keep my customers. That is the ones that came last month, if they bought again this month. Then that tells me that, okay, I retained X number of customers, and that will have given me X percentage. And I'm saying I want to get to 10%. That is the measurement that we're talking about here. Then achievable. Achievable will be in the context of resources. Resources in the area of data. Do I have the data to measure? Do I have the tools, the softwares that I need to use to extract this data, to process this data? Do I have the skills in-house? Am I able to do it? Do I know how to use those tools to implement this analysis and get this information? Do I have the strategies that after I've extracted all that information, what strategies am I going to use to execute that retention increase? I need to have it. I need to also look at the customers that are not coming back. Okay, the customer bought pizza in my shop last month, didn't come back to buy this month. Is it that the pizza is not tasting good? Was it bad? Was it delivered cold? Maybe the customer didn't like that the pizza was delivered cold. That was why he didn't order again, because he knows that my pizza will always be delivered cold. Those are the information you want. So you need to be able to have collected, for example, customer feedback in the past, and then you look into your customer feedback match it with the customer ID, and then look at the sentiment for their feedback, and then assign numbers to those feedback. I know this is a little bit starting to get a little complex, but I will do a little typing here. So you have your customer ID. So you have customer ID. Then you have based on those customers, you check the ones that bought last month and this month. So repeat purchase, something like that. So you want to check if the customer bought last month, did they buy again this month? So you record that. Then after that, you check the product ID. What did they buy last month? Did they buy it again this month? If they didn't buy it again this month, what did they buy this month, right? After you're looking at your product ID, then you look at the feedback, customer feedback. And based on the feedback, then you do what you call sentiment analysis, analysis of the feedback, right? So based on that sentiment analysis, then you assign quantities. You quantify the sentiment. Let's call it quantify the sentiment. So you see, after you have quantified the sentiment, you now have a data set to now work with. But guess what? You are querying your database to get all of this information, but you need to have the skill set. You need to know what you're going to do with that data set. That's what we meant by achievable. And relevant. Relevant in the sense that what you are trying to do is actually relevant for your business. How relevant is this problem that you're trying to solve? What will it help you to do? It will help you to increase your retention. It will help you to probably increase your revenue. It will help you to increase your profitability. You list all of those things. That is how relevant that problem statement is. And then time bound. Okay, I will achieve this goal at a specific time, which is next quarter or next month or next 3 months. That's how you put time around it. So that's where we will stop for today. We will stop at problem statement for today. And in the next class, we will go into collecting data and how to collect data and all of that. I will go through that, and then we'll look at analyzing your data with different tools like SQL. We'll do the basics of SQL and Python, and we'll see how you can use ChatGPT to generate some codes for you. Like I said, breaking it down into a step-by-step format and walking you through. But I believe that having given you the background, you have an idea of what data analysis is, even if you are new. And if you still have questions at all, if you have any question at all, feel free to reach out to learnwithdotun@gmail.com. All right, guys. Cheers, and see you another time.